Hello everyone! This insane forecast came out swinging with Jake Claver. He's calling for spot XRP ETFs to absolutely catapult prices toward $100,000, possibly even $1,000 before you know it. Wild, right? We're gonna dissect his entire prediction here, plus you'll hear him say it straight from his own mouth. So here's the deal. The cryptocurrency world is abuzz with a bold prediction from Jake Claver. He suggests that multiple XRP traded products launch simultaneously next week. The price of XRP could skyrocket between $100,000 and $1,000. This prediction caught the attention of both crypto enthusiasts and investors alike, sparking speculation on the potential market shift and how it could play out. Jake Claver's prediction is based on the assumption that multiple ETFs could launch, which they are. The concept behind these ETFs could allow investors to gain exposure to XRP without directly owning the asset. This could open the institutional investors to participate in the XRP market in a regulated manner, potentially driving up the demand. XRP is currently trading between $2.50 and $2.75, with a current circulating supply of just over 60.1 billion tokens. Okay, imagine this for a second. We're talking about $100,000 actually happening. And suddenly, you're watching the market cap balloon into multi-trillion-dollar madness. We're estimating something like $6 trillion in total valuation once it touches $100. But wait, here's where your jaw drops. Climb all the way to $1,000, and we're staring at this absolutely insane $50 to $55 trillion market cap for XRP. And it syncs up perfectly with what Jake's been forecasting for the final stretch of this year. Here's the reality though. We've got to let this thing play out naturally. But you know what's actually exciting about all this? The forecasts are already out there in the open. What's left for us? Literally just lean back, enjoy the ride, and find out whether Jake absolutely nailed this prediction or got it totally backwards. Now let's break this down even further. While the theory behind a surge in XRP's price is compelling, there are several hurdles that need to be overcome for this scenario to unfold. Regulatory approval and time required for custodial and compliance procedures are significant obstacles that often delay or prevent the smooth launch of financial products in ETFs. According to industry expert, it is unlikely that multiple XRP ETFs will launch at the same time. The filings and regulatory processes usually take months or even years. Here's what I gotta tell you, that's straight up incorrect. Okay, so check this out. We've got actual proof that multiple ETFs are sitting there ready to go on the DTCC website. Like, we can literally see them with our own eyes. And when those tickers start showing up and those fees get announced, we're not looking at some faraway timeline here. We're talking about this happening in the next few days, possibly even hours, people. Now look, I've got to be straight with you. I'm not fully buying what this article is trying to sell us. Maybe the writers should have done their homework a bit more thoroughly before hitting that publish button, but whatever, no big deal. Even if several XRP ETFs are approved in the near future, there is no guarantee that they will launch together. Legal hurdles and custodial issues also add to the complexity of this process. Okay, I hear you. Anyway, let's not get stuck here. Moving forward to the juicy part, let me show you these price predictions. Listen to this.
How quickly do you think XRP hits 3 to 4 digits overnight, or will it gradually go up over weeks or months? I think it's going to move very quickly to like 50 to $100. It might pause there for a little bit, and then I think you see 4 digits in the not too distant future after that. Maybe go straight to 4 digits. Who knows? Depends on how quickly the catalysts play out. I do think this year there's too many things that are lined up that make sense in macro. Still waiting on oil to pop off here. We've seen oil stocks start to run up, and that tends to be an indicator of, potentially oil itself running up. If oil were to spike because of conflict in the Middle East, we could see some, reg hikes over there by the BOJ, and that'll kick everything off.
Jake's still holding firm on those wild price predictions he threw out earlier in the year. And wow, has that created a massive divide. You've got one camp absolutely convinced Jake's cracked the code, while the other camp is sitting there going, yeah, sure, buddy. Full transparency, I'm hanging out with the doubters on this one, my friends. But here's where I need to pump the brakes and say something important. This whole ETF wave coming in, that's genuinely huge for XRP. Like game-changing huge for getting those institutional money bags involved. Picture this scenario. Instead of someone having to navigate the maze of setting up a Coinbase account, suffering through endless KYC verification, purchasing crypto, moving it around, they just open up their existing brokerage app and go, yeah, I'll take some XRP, thanks. Wait, do actual phone calls to brokers still happen? Is that even a thing anymore? Or has everyone moved to smartphone taps and desktop clicks? My guess is it's a mixed bag these days. Anyway, here's where I plant my flag. I'm thinking this whole process unfolds way more gradually than people expect. But you know what? I'd be thrilled to eat my words on this. What if Jake saw something we all missed and he's been spot on this entire time? We'll find out soon enough. I just can't help being the cautious guy in the room, particularly when price targets start sounding like lottery numbers. Call it my personality, I guess. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, and yeah, I already know you're about to roast me in there. Bring it on, no hard feelings whatsoever. At the end of the day, my job here is delivering the information and giving you my unfiltered perspective. That's what I believe. If that resonates with you, awesome. If not, hey, we can totally agree to disagree. Robinhood is partnered with Citadel for payment or order flow. Ripple partners with Citadel to raise $500 million at a $40 billion evaluation. Robinhood bought Bitstamp building tokenized stocks and derivatives on the XRP ledger. Together, billions and eventually trillions will run and be settled on the XRP ledger. Any questions? And check this out. The Robinhood CEO is literally on record discussing what's coming next in the financial world and the whole tokenization movement. Pretty wild timing if you ask me, right? This isn't just speculation anymore, friends. We're hearing it directly from the people making these massive moves happen. Listen to this.
If you think about, what's a part of your portfolio, if you're a high net worth individual, there's a lot of these assets that actually retail can't access currently. And I think that tokenization is a way to enable that at scale and sort of like reduce some of the downsides that would typically be associated with holding those assets, like lack of liquidity, being locked into positions, not being able to like chunk the assets out and invest in portions of them. So that's why we're continuing to push on it, both in the US and outside. And you should expect this to become bigger and bigger in the coming years. Of course, starting with stocks, which is the asset class that we think has the most potential and we're also closest to.
There's a whole lot coming at you fast, so let me paint a picture here. If you're newer to the space and still scratching your head thinking, wait, where does crypto actually plug into this whole financial revolution we keep hearing about? Don't worry, you're not alone. So here's my favorite way to explain this. Cast your mind back to the early internet days. What was actually happening? Well, you had this massive infrastructure quietly being assembled piece by piece in the shadows, right? But what was everyone losing their minds over? The dot-com companies. All the flashy websites and businesses getting all the attention and hype. Fast forward to today, and it's like we're watching history repeat itself in the crypto arena. Sure, certain tokens are grabbing all the spotlight and getting everyone excited, but here's the insider secret. The infrastructure beneath it all, that's what you really want your eyes on. Because when everything shakes out and the real system takes shape, only a small group of tokens will actually be powering the engine of this next-gen financial machine. Now, where does the actual treasure lie? It's in making all these separate private systems talk to each other smoothly. And here's where it gets spicy. XRP is staking its claim as the ultimate bridge connecting everything together. And Ripple's already got their foot in the door with major financial players worldwide. That groundwork, it's about to become absolutely essential for what's rolling out in the near future. Okay, buckle up because I'm about to throw some wild numbers at you. We're talking about tokenizing the global stock market here. That's roughly $130 to $140 trillion floating around out there. And about $60 trillion of that is just sitting in the US market alone. But hold on, we're just getting warmed up. Bonds, that's another 135 trillion in the mix. Debt markets pile on 300 trillion more. Real estate comes crashing in with a whopping 500 trillion. And derivatives? Oh man, we're entering quadrillion territory now. You're starting to see how astronomically huge this thing becomes when you add it all together. Imagine if we could actually migrate all this massive value onto blockchain networks at real scale. When people start moving and trading that value around, that's the moment where fortunes get made. That's the jackpot everyone's positioning for. So what's really happening when you buy crypto right now? You're essentially placing your chips on the railroad tracks being laid down while nobody's watching. I'm talking XRP, Solana, Ethereum, Chainlink. These four heavyweights are likely going to be the workhorses carrying the entire system. Sure, you've got players like Ondo and XDC floating around too. Believe me, there's a laundry list of important tokens in this equation. But based on what I'm seeing play out every single day, those initial four I called out are set up to create the biggest ripple effects across this entire financial transformation. So here's what's happening. Ripple just raised for money from Fortress and Citadel. Brad Garlinghouse, our biggest competitor, is not Circle. It's governments around the world that are stifling adoption and the new payment rails. Stripe is late to the L1 network, but they could build something suited for their use case. So this gets the wheels turning in your head, doesn't it? Like, what if we grabbed all these ancient payment dinosaurs and injected them with some blockchain magic? You know, give them that ability to actually communicate with each other for once. Because look, here's what's driving everyone crazy right now. All these private payment platforms are basically living in their own little bubbles. They refuse to acknowledge each other's existence. It's wild, honestly. Picture yourself trying to zap some cash from PayPal to your buddy who only uses Venmo. What happens? Absolutely nothing. Crickets. The systems look at each other and go, nope, not today. They're speaking completely different languages. But wait, imagine flipping the script here. What if PayPal could shake hands with Venmo? What if Stripe and Zelle suddenly became best friends? However you want to mix and match these platforms, just roll with it. Now imagine there's this bridge asset hanging out between all these old school systems, basically being the peacemaker that gets everyone on the same page. And that's literally going to be XRP's bread and butter going forward. Okay, so Bill Morgan jumps in and says, there's not an endless amount of XRP, but how could their accounts be allowed to run out of XRP? Now, here's where things get absolutely bonkers. So apparently, BitGo has a rogue script that now spams the ledger with failed transactions because their account ran out of XRP. Hold on a second. BitGo went completely empty on XRP? I mean, that's like a gas station running out of gas, right? The whole thing feels super weird. Look, I'll level with you. I'm piecing this together as we go. There's definitely going to be more intel dropping soon because people are already digging through this mess trying to figure it out. Something interesting on chain. I'm not sure who's yet behind it. BitGo activating thousands of XRP accounts in masses in the past couple of days. So honestly, excuse me, I'm just as confused as everyone else trying to make sense of what's actually happening behind the scenes here. But as you can see, we've got this wild situation unfolding right here. Accounts are literally popping up left and right, like everywhere, all at the same exact moment. And a whole bunch of them are sitting there without enough XRP to actually complete what they're trying to do. So obviously, I'm over here scratching my head trying to piece together what on earth is actually going down. The image shows a discussion about the technological issues where BitGo, a major crypto custodian, ran a script that caused their XRP account to reportedly attempt transactions after running out of XRP. The yellow unfunded payment warnings means that the account tried to send more XRP than it had available, resulting in failed ledger transactions. BitGo's account ran a script that triggered lots of ongoing or outgoing XRP payment attempts. Once the account balance hit zero or below the minimum reserve, it began to spam the XRP ledger. The system rejects those attempts with an unfunded payment error, logging it in transaction ID. Stay tuned because I'm going to keep you updated with all the juicy details as they come rolling in. So when I first saw this, I literally did a double take. This is one of those things that's flying completely under the radar. Nobody's really buzzing about it in the market right now, which makes it even more interesting. So I need you guys to weigh in here. What's your take on Jake Claver's price predictions? Are we looking at legitimate possibilities here, or is this more of that, hey, look at me type of content that's just chasing engagement? Drop your honest opinion down in the comments because I'm genuinely curious what camp you're in. Here's the beautiful part though. Regardless of how this plays out, one thing's crystal clear. The industry's about to win big. XRP's about to win even bigger, and we're talking rocket fuel levels of movement here. Man, I'm practically vibrating with excitement thinking about everything that's about to go down in the coming days. You know what? This is the kind of era people will look back on and say, I was there. Every sacrifice you made, every moment you held strong when others doubted, that's what got us here, to the edge of something truly special. All right, my friends, see you in the next time.